Okay, so again, it's 7 o'clock now. I usually do not officially call the meeting to order until a couple minutes after 7. I'm letting people in from the waiting room, and I'm Laura Myers, if you can't see who is speaking. And I have a couple of people trying to get in right now from the waiting room. And Jeff, are you back yet?
I'll be right here.
Okay, so Jeff Camp, are you here?
I am here.
Thank you. Okay, it's 7:02. Somebody named Gregory, maybe he got it, Kalfayan, is trying to get in, but is not currently in. Is he with one of the teams presenting tonight? Does this name ring a bell? Because I keep trying to admit him. Okay. Jeff, did you mute everybody, including yourself?
Everybody is muted.
Yes, but I in this case, since I was asking everybody a question, you didn't need to mute them all, because I'm not going to get an answer if they're all muted. But anyway, okay. It is 7:03, and I'm going to, I guess, officially call this meeting to order. My name is Laura Myers. I am the chair of UNNC's Planning and Zoning Committee, and also its president, the Neighborhood Council's president, and also a longtime resident. I live in Angeles Vista. I am going to screen share, try this, screen share the, actually I'm first going to go through a few rules, and then I'll screen share the agenda. By rules, I mean this is an unusual format to conduct a public meeting. We are allowed to do it this way because the governor issued an emergency order back in March, on March 17. So I'm guessing all throughout the state, certainly here in Los Angeles, we have been conducting our meetings via Zoom and other meeting formats like this. So for neighborhood councils, we've been asked to use the Zoom platform. What I ask is that everybody act as if they had signed the code of conduct that the members of boards of neighborhood councils are required to sign every 2 years, and treat each other with respect. And we, as best we can, will keep this meeting moving along with people raising hands and being called on. Jeff Camp acts as our moderator, and so he will kind of keep a running track of whose hands are raised and keep me informed, because it's kind of hard to share the screen and share a meeting and watch for raised hands. So in order to raise your hand, if you aren't familiar with Zoom, if you take your cursor and put it along the bottom of this big black screen, one of the words that comes up is participants. If you would click on participants, it'll bring that box up, and not only will you see who's participating in the meeting, but at the bottom of the box, one of the functions is raise hand. So when you want to speak on an item, you click the box and you can raise your hand. Now, we conduct our meetings, particularly this planning and zoning meeting, very collaboratively. So you can talk more than once. We ask, however, that you stay focused and try to keep at least your first round of remarks or questions to 2 minutes, so everybody else has a chance, and we'll just keep going in a circle unless we really run out of time. So what I'd like to do is, hopefully this works, is share the screen with the agenda for tonight, and that may be, I'm sorry. And I would ask your patience, well, because even though we've now done this a number of times, it's still always an adventure, shall I just say it that way? So I'm hoping, can you all see the shared screen? You see an agenda. And you can unmute yourselves. There's not that many people here. I think you have the ability to unmute your own self. So for United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council, our committees, we appoint our chairs and our co-chairs, but we do not appoint the members of the committee. Who are the members of the committee then? It's all of our stakeholders, those who are in attendance on the night of a committee meeting. So for the meeting night, you can ask questions, give opinions, make a motion, and vote. The result of the motion and the vote is a recommendation to our governing board, or a recommendation to you, depending on what the situation is. So, we might say, why don't you do this and this and this and come back to us? This is, I'm speaking generically now. Or in the case of the two cases that have hearings next week, this is going to be an up or down recommendation pretty much, because there's no more chance to change things, pretty much. So we're going to make a recommendation to the board, and then the board itself will either accept our recommendation, reject our recommendation, or massage it and come up with a different opinion. So this is the agenda that you're looking at. What I need is a motion and to approve or not approve the agenda. Yes, John?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, and a second? A second. Thank you. We have not figured out in Zoom exactly how to vote, so I'm just going to say all in favor. Well, I'm actually going to unshare my screen so I can see things. All in favor, raise your hand in the little blue hand thing, or just raise your hand if you're on video. Thank you. And is there any opposition, more to the point? Okay, take your yes hands down, and you can just say words out loud if you have any opposition to approving this agenda. Okay, hearing none. I would like to go to the first agenda item. And while I was doing the share screen, I did see that somebody was waiting to attend. So Jeff, you handled that, right?
I did. One moment, Madam Chair. For the phone caller who has the last 4 digits of 3392, can you let us know your name so I can change it for the participants?
They may be able to change their name themselves.
My name is Greg, G-R-E-G, and last name Kalfayan, K-A-L-F like Frank, A-Y-A-N.
Oh, you were having trouble getting in via the computer.
Yeah, I was, but I'm on the phone now, so thanks.
Okay, oh, cool.
Thank you, Greg.
Okay, so the first item on the agenda is case number ZA, which stands for Zoning Administration 2020-1817-CU, which stands for Conditional Use, located at 4014 through 4060 West Washington Boulevard, which is the Washington Square Shopping Center on the corner of 10th Avenue in Washington. And as stated in the application, this is the interior and exterior renovation of an existing vacant retail space for the purposes of operating a gym. That gym would be Planet Fitness. And the conditional use permit, excuse me, now I'm going to cough, not a COVID cough. It's to allow commercial use not otherwise subject to conditional use that operates between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. because generally speaking, Planet Fitness is 24 hours a day. I suspect we're going to hear that for the moment it's not going to be, but they need to get the land use entitlement. There is a public hearing on this matter scheduled for next Wednesday, a week from today, August 12th at 10 a.m. And I put the information on the agenda, but it's a purely telephonic hearing. And it seemingly is with Zoom, but it's all on the phone and there's a meeting ID number. So our presenter is or are Chase and Doug. And Chase, you know how to do the share screen thing, right?
Madam Chair, before we
sir.
go there, would you like to set a presentation time limit?
I would not. I would like us to be our normal collaborative selves here at Planning and Zoning. Ask me tomorrow night and the answer will be absolutely yes. So Chase and Doug, for tomorrow night, we're going to have a 10-minute item and that includes whatever you're presenting and hopefully discussion and voting. But tonight, I can give you a little more time. But don't take way too much time on the presentation because we'll just be bored, to be blunt. So, but anyway, Chase, are you able to share this? Have you done share screen before? You're going to try this?
Yes, absolutely. Doug, I don't know if you want to kick it off, but
why
I guess
you're the presenter. You kick it off however you wish.
yeah, absolutely. Let's do it.
Oh, Doug, you're muted, so unmute yourself. Okay, who's speaking, Chase or Doug? Oh, here we go.
So let's see. Can everybody see my screen?
I can. Can everybody else? John can. All right.
Perfect. All right, so I'll kick it off, and I want to thank the Neighborhood Council for meeting with us this evening, allowing us to present Planet Fitness coming to the Washington Square Mall. Just to give you a little background on Planet Fitness, whether you're a first-time gym user or a veteran member, we're here to provide a workout environment in which anyone and everyone can be comfortable. No matter what you're looking for in a gym, we've got a membership option made for you. All Planet Fitness members enjoy unlimited access to their home club and the support of our friendly, knowledgeable staff anytime you need it. PF Black Card members receive additional benefits, including the ability to bring a guest for free and access to any of our 2,000 plus locations nationwide. Looking for a little extra guidance, we have our free fitness training, and we also have a free app that I encourage everyone to check out. It's part of our United We Move campaign. As we're bringing, obviously, gyms are currently closed in the state of California, and we're bringing everyone to an online app-based workout program. So please feel free to download that and check out what we're doing currently. It's our goal to provide a clean, safe, welcoming environment for anyone who walks through our doors and all the equipment, amenities, and support you need once you're here. So welcome to Planet Fitness, the judgment-free zone. I'm just going to run you through a 3D model of one of our, of our facilities, so you can see it firsthand and just give you a brief overview, kind of a fly through. So right now you're seeing the main
Chase, you're unmute. You're muted.
I stopped his sharing because it seemed to be locking it up. I'm still trying to unmute him.
All right. Well, I just heard you, even though your microphone is showing muted. But now
Can you
you're
hear me
your
now?
sharing went away. Do you want me to share this? So are you having trouble?
Sure, whatever's. I could try it again, or you could.
Let me.
Go.
Well, actually,
It
I don't
was
have
the
it. I
video
don't-
portion. It was the video portion that locked it up.
Okay, so
Yeah, I
hang
can do
on.
that. I can try it again, Laura. I can go back. There's no more video from that.
You know what? It's just as easy for me, I think.
Sure.
Yeah, and then just tell me where I'm supposed to go.
Sure.
I will just. I think we're skipping that. Is that where you want us? The
We're
exterior
into the,
elevation.
3 more slides down. Yep. And that's,
Okay.
Yep. So just I was going into some of our giving back to the community. So we're involved with the Boys and Girls Club in Los Angeles, throughout California as well. We're also involved. You can go to the next slide. Thank you, Laura. We're also involved with the National Bullying Prevention Center. That's part of our Bullying Prevention 101. You can go to the next slide.
I'm on the next.
We're also, sure, perfect. I can see it now. We're as well, we're partnered with the Los Angeles Clippers. We're giving back. We've actually built a mini judgment-free zone within the Salvation Army this year. It's a workout center. You can see some photos of that center, and obviously we're doing Salvation Army feeding the community events that we participate in throughout the year. We can go to the next one. Perfect.
Right.
And some of our programs as well that we've, this is kind of continuation of what we're doing within the community. We participate, obviously, of course, in as many as possible with plans of donating over 100,000 in sponsorships within our local communities throughout 2020. We can go to the next slide. The teens, this is a little bit goes back to the bullying campaign. We have the Teen Summer Challenge, where we open our facilities to teenagers 15 through 18 to work out for free at any of our locations. So let's go to the next one. This is our latest COVID response. Obviously, with everything going on with COVID, our ultimate goal is to be as transparent as possible. And this is just a little bit of our protocols regarding staff training. We're doing constant Zoom meetings. We have a PF University for our staff to obviously understand the ever-changing environment and COVID environment that we're in currently. We have the in-club training for staff. I can tell you we are one of the most prepared gyms in the industry. We call ourselves the clean thumb of approval, and we have a slogan called "Be Clean-Siderate" to your fellow members. So, what we do there is in our facilities right now, where we have the highest standard of sanitization going on. We have staff members going around every 20 minutes cleaning all the equipment down. We're actually closing at night currently at 10 p.m. for a deep sanitization cleaning overnight. We have cleaning stations throughout the club. We have social distancing signs. We have every other cardio piece marked out of service to incorporate social distancing. We have a head count tracker to make sure that we're monitoring safe occupancy for all of our spaces in our facilities. And you can go to the next slide, Laura. Thank you.
So are you good on the implementation slide?
Yep, I see it now. And this is just more of this is what we're implementing currently in California, a little bit into, some more of the protocol that we have in our stores. The mask requirement, the continuous communication with our members, the touchless check-in that we're offering, the, just kind of more of the deep sanitization and the social distancing policies that we have in place at all of our clubs. So thank you, everyone, for allowing us to present.
Okay, so I'm going to stop the screen share. And then I have a couple of questions, Chase. When we met back in March, I could look up the date, but I'm guessing it's something like the 10th of March when you met with Arlington Heights, right? Whenever that was, before the lockdown. I know there was questions about parking, and I know the answer is, hey, it's a big shopping center, there shouldn't be an issue. I assume based on this presentation that whatever the, but you should address it, whatever the regulations are for gyms, you know, open, shut, do it outside. I mean, you guys are just bouncing with those times, right? So if you could address those two, and I already see that I have a hand up, but if you could talk about both those things.
Yeah, so I guess I can go a little bit into the parking lot. The parking lot obviously is very is obviously a very large parking lot. If you've ever been to the facility, it's definitely at its busiest times has an abundance of parking available. So we definitely don't see an issue with parking, and we would never even consider a facility if it didn't have adequate parking. Of course, we don't want to go into a situation where we're not able to provide parking for our members and of course the neighboring businesses. You know, in terms of going outside, you know, there is no intention at this point to even go outside, and it would be an overall decision, a corporate decision, and at this point there isn't a desire to go outside. We're kind of in the same boat as a lot of other businesses, just patiently waiting and waiting to come back around and reopen safely and effectively as possible.
I see hands up from Michael and then Romero. Ugh. Romero, I'm always ruining your name. So sorry, but Michael first.
Yeah, hi. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to say that I support what you're trying to do, gentlemen. I think any improvement on our nearby shopping center is an improvement. It's nice to see you moving in, but I have a couple of basic questions that may have previously been answered, but I was not a participant in those meetings. Where exactly are you going to be located in the shopping center?
So we're going to be taking over the 99-cent store that's on the end cap, closest to the street.
So they're closing the 99-cent store?
That is correct.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That changes my thinking. I love that 99-cent store. I frequent it a lot. I was hoping you were going to be taking the swap meet space adjacent to it.
The 99-cent store may be moving, but you know, as far as I know, it's obviously all dependent on what the landlord decides with the tenant. I know there's some discussions of at this point.
So then, I guess the follow-up question would be: do you have a timeline?
We are definitely, you know, our intention is to be open in 2021. I just can't really provide a specific, you know, quarter for you, but our intention is to be open in 2021.
Do you have your entitlements?
No.
Oh.
The hearing is next week.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Michael. Next, Romero.
I'm done.
My comment is, can you confirm your hours of operation?
Yeah, so our hours of operation are 24/7, so 24 hours, 7 days a week. And we, you know, the reason why we do that is to provide an equal time and equal opportunity for people that work overnight hours, police officers, firefighters, first responders, etc. We find that they frequent during the overnight hours, and that's at all our locations.
Okay.
Next up, Kristen Terry.
Hi. Hi. Hey, so Chase, actually, I have a recommendation that a client of mine is doing who has a gym. In order to stay open, they're utilizing the rooftop legally, or there's another gym that's actually implementing a physical therapist or a sports therapist or something along those terms to keep them as an essential service. So you might want to look into doing that as a recommendation because it's actually working, and what you can do if people are still afraid, right? Just as a buffer until you're actually able to open. Use your black card members or whatever you called it. Because those people, those VIPs, offer that service to them first. But just know that it's actually happening with other gyms that they're doing
That's
that.
a great recommendation. I love the concept.
Really
You know,
good.
if we could consider ourselves an essential business, obviously that would be a home run for us.
So get my information. I'll help you out a little bit more on that.
Yeah, that would be
Thank
great.
you, Kristen.
Welcome.
Next up, Sandra.
Hi, I had a question in regards to the location compared to where you currently have a facility in the Midtown Shopping Center. Will you be continuing to have that Midtown location open, or is this a relocation?
So the Midtown facility will remain open. Will be a new store in addition to that store.
And what is the, before the COVID situation, how many members, active members did you have at the Midtown location?
That I don't know because we don't own the Midtown location. It's another franchise group that owns it.
Oh, so this is a franchise?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, all right.
Any other questions before we move on?
We're not moving on. We need to do a motion. So I agree with this question. Are there any other questions? And if not, John Arnold, you're muted. John.
I'm understanding this is a conditional use permit to do after hours versus on a commercial corner. Is there anything that we would normally condition this on? Any concerns, or is this pretty much a formality for our part?
It's not a formality. I mean, we would normally evaluate, would it cause a parking impact in a community? But since they're in a shopping center where the late hours, which is the only entitlement, the grocery store closes at 9 o'clock. And the entitlement, if I'm not mistaken, is for hours after 11. Is that correct? So that grocery store in the future could stay open a little later, but it's not going to be, I mean, in other words, I don't see where for the entitlement, which is the 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. being open, which they won't be during a time of COVID from what I read on the other things, because they have to close down and clean for COVID in the middle of the night anyway now. If they were open, they'd have to be closed, but they need to get their entitlement. That would be the impact. So I see nobody here from Arlington Heights that I'm aware of. I do know that the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Association met with Chase and others. Again, the second week of March, I was there. The room was jam-packed with people, jam-packed, shoulder to shoulder, and that's why we all spent 3 weeks wondering if we got COVID since the city shut down just a few days later. But I think all was well. But anyway, the key questions had to do with the parking and would there be an impact. And Chase, were there any, you're muted, but if you unmute yourself, do you remember any other concerns that people were bringing up?
No, the only other concerns were just kind of went into a little bit on our security. You know, that we have our camera, we have about a 21 camera system that monitors the inside and outside our facility. That was the only other question that came up. We really went over a lot of the operations, just and familiarizing the community just with who we are and how we compare to other fitness facilities.
What is the situation with overnight security? I mean, the shopping center right now has most of the time a security guard walking around. What are the discussions? Would there be a security guy walking around at 2 a.m.?
So they have, you know, currently the security is specific to the swap meet. That is why the security is there. For us, you know, we've operated obviously throughout Los Angeles we find that there really is no need to have security. In fact, you know, we find that having just an active parking lot in general is better for a community than a parking lot that has nothing occurring on it except unfortunate things that happen, you know, after 11 p.m.
All right. So John, do you have more?
Nope. And I'd like to make a motion.
Well, given that I made you a co-host, correct? You can
Yeah.
even type that motion to everyone and then post it.
I move that we recommend that the UNNC Governing Board support the application for the CUP for extended hours in the commercial corner as presented by Planet Fitness, and in general welcome and
Wait a minute,
support.
are you typing? Because I wasn't typing.
I'll do it.
I can type if you just say it again.
I will type after I stop talking. I need to
Okay.
talk fluidly and socially, and that we support Planet Fitness coming into the neighborhood in this location.
Okay, is there a second? Michael? Michael, are you doing a second or are you doing a comment? I don't hear him. Okay.
There it is. That's a second.
Thank you. Michael Kimbrough seconds. So John moves and Michael seconds, but I don't see the motion yet.
I'm typing it.
I know. The beauty of Zoom is we can see the motion, but it just takes a minute.
Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna type it as I say it again. The motion is for. I'm a spelling fanatic, so I won't misspell. Is for the UNNC Planning and Zoning Committee to recommend that the UNNC Governing Board support the CUP for extended hours at a commercial corner, and also support Planet Fitness. Sorry. I'm typing under a microscope.
Okay, next time I'll do it.
No, in Planet Fitness, it's for Planet Fitness's location, locating at this in the shopping center.
Okay, and then you hit. Okay, so I'm just adding to by John, second by Michael. All right, so the motion is for this committee to recommend to the governing board that it support the conditional use permit for extended hours at a commercial corner. I see the word corner is missing, but that's okay. And also support Planet Fitness's locating in the shopping center. Moved by John, seconded by Michael. So are there any other comments? Boy, now I need to, again, I'm so sorry because we haven't figured out, UNNC haven't figured out Zoom voting. I was at a meeting not long ago where we had Zoom voting. I see Nancy has her hand up. Nancy? Hi. Whoops. You went from mute to unmute to mute again. There you
Hi,
are.
Laura, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, just one follow-up question for Chase. So I guess for all of the facilities that you currently run, there is no overnight security, is that right?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay. Just because I frequented the Planet Fitness in Midtown, and they do have a security overnight, or at least someone that runs around, like roams around the parking lot.
Oh yeah, I've seen that in the golf cart.
Yeah, in the golf cart, exactly.
Yeah, so that's to enforce the parking there, because there is definitely some tight parking in that shopping center.
Okay.
It's not really a secure. Yeah.
Is it only the parking, or is it also the teenagers for the roller skating? I'm just saying, because I go there too. I don't go to the Planet Fitness, but I go to the shopping center. Okay, so again, one of these days we are going to figure out how to do actual voting on Zoom. I've been to one meeting recently, a Zoom meeting where you could actually vote, but I don't know how to do that. So in this case, I'm hoping those who are voting can now essentially raise their hand if their vote is yes.
While people are raising their hands, Laura, as a resident, I'm all for this.
Okay, you're allowed to vote. Oh, you can't vote because John and Laura and Jeff are all co-hosts, so we don't have blue hands. Okay, so I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yeses. Take your hands down. If there's any no's, please raise your hand now. Okay. Michael, did your hand just went down again? Are there anybody voting no? Okay, so we have 6 yes, a bunch of people who didn't vote, 1 who did tell me an abstain. Does this? I guess this motion passes because we don't have a quorum thing. Okay, motion passes. That's all I can say. Because we don't have members to the committee. All right, moving on. Our next agenda item. Wait a minute. Okay, our next agenda item, the presenter isn't present to present, but it's 2922 Crenshaw Boulevard. It's an proposed office building at 29th and Crenshaw that we have, that we looked at and had a long conversation about not too long ago, but suddenly the public hearing was scheduled without us getting any sort of notice. So what I'm trying to say is that the applicant also didn't get notice, so didn't get much notice from us that we're doing this meeting tonight. So I am just going to share the presentation and show it to everybody again to remind you of what this project is. So this is, can you see the screen, everybody? Yes, so we're muted. Yeah. Thank you. So I'm gonna maybe make it a little smaller so we can see more of it. So again, this is a proposed office building and parking structure to be built where the vacant, it's not exactly vacant, the big parking lot that fills nearly an entire block, 3/4 of a block, at south of 29th to 30th. And so what we're looking at in this slide is the southerly portion, and that's the office building. And you can see the location on Crenshaw, south of Adams, north of Jefferson. And that's the project site. So it's across the street, more or less, from the Smart and Final, and in the block across the street from the Bank of America. It's a 60,000 square foot lot, 87,000 square foot total proposed floor area of the construction, 326 parking spaces, which satisfies the municipal code. Both structures meet the regular height requirements. So the entitlements are a project permit compliance because this is within this Crenshaw specific plan, a conditional use permit to remove a requirement for a landscape buffer along Crenshaw Boulevard. They're calling it the pedestrian unfriendly landscape buffer, but the idea here is to keep this project pedestrian friendly, and it does require site plan review. So that's the SPR in the title of the use. So again, the southerly building at 30th is a 3-story office building with 1 story of subterranean parking. And the northerly building is a parking structure with both grade and above, and also 1 story of subterranean parking. And it has both egress both on Crenshaw itself and in the alley behind. There may be a better schematic, I don't know. And then there's a plaza in between. And there you go. I didn't have this memorized. So, so the egress from Crenshaw is to 196 parking spaces, and the part on the alley, 130 spaces are available from that entrance, and that's for reserved and assigned parking, obviously relative to the people who rent the office space. There will be retail on the first floor, which is going to be obviously open to the public. So let's see. So the top image would be of the parking structure, and the bottom image is of the office building. They are also intending to do some mural type artwork on the walls, and obviously that would be a later, it's not an entitlement, but they will need to get permission from the city's murals section. And this would be a view of the plaza area. And another view. And this would be a view from 30th Street. Don't ask me any questions, even though they said questions, because I do not know the answer. So I'm going to go back up to this other slide. And what I cannot see is if there are any questions. I am being, however, I'm turning off my video for just one moment. And Jeff, can you see if there's any questions? Because while I have this on the share screen, I can't see anything. So, oh, I can't even turn off my video. All right, I see John's hand raised. So while John, while you're talking, I'm going to actually get up out of my chair and walk away for a moment.
Yep.
And
So,
but I think you got it.
Yep. So what?
Okay.
So what it appears to me that this is a by right project, except for getting rid of the required landscape buffer, which I agree is it's kind of a relic from the past, and sometimes they work and sometimes they're just perfunctory and they end up with dying plants in them. So what I see is it's a by right project. It's a 1.5 FAR, which equals what the zone is, and that the reason they're coming to us as an entitlement is because it's over a certain square footage, as in it gets to a certain size, much like housing developments do. And because it's a certain size, then they have to go through a review process, and we are part of that process. So it appears to me, and we have no one to correct me, that this is a by right project, and it's coming before us as a formality because of its size. And that said, putting on my architect cap, that this appears to me a very fancy project, which is great for our neighborhood to have a upscale looking project that brings jobs to the neighborhood. I assume it's a core and shell, which means it's open to tenants to be determined. So we don't know who those tenants will be, I presume. But to me, I would be supportive of this. It's a vacant lot. It's not tearing anything down that we love. And I would be supportive of this. And I think making Crenshaw more of a corridor with active uses, in addition to the active uses that are already there, I'm all for it. Since I'm co-chair and Lauren's not here, are there any other questions? Anyone have their hand up, Jeff? Nope, Sandra.
Just a quick question. I know Laura said that this project had come forward to the planning and zoning before. Were there any topics that we probably need to know about or anything of interest?
As I recall, it was exactly this. That was more of a consultation, a kind of a prelim. And as I recall, the comments and the questions were much like it is. And Laura, this is by right and only comes to us because it's a certain size.
The reason we did not vote was there were several people who had concerns with not so much the project architecturally or entitlement wise, which is what we're evaluating, but rather with, will the retail spaces, will they prioritize local business to be allowed to rent those spaces? Are they going to make favorable deals to encourage local entrepreneurs? And so what we agreed was that we would not act that night. Nobody knew that this hearing was going to be so fast. This is the issue. So they're setting up a meeting with about 8 people from the avenues and West Jefferson Park. They're going to have a meeting with them on these economic issues. It may not now happen before the hearing, which is next Wednesday. And again, I'm just telling you, we are all caught by surprise that there is a hearing so fast. So, but we didn't act on it because we wanted to give them time to have that meeting. But now we have to act on it. Nobody's really expressing issues with the design, the amount of parking, which is not an entitlement anyway, it's by right. The way some of the parking is Crenshaw, and some is from the alley. So that wasn't an issue. Do I need to keep this screen up because I'm not able to see what's going on in the meeting with the screen up?
I think you can take it down.
I agree.
Doing the best I can to take it down. Okay. There we are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, there. Okay. I have to agree with John. I think it's a great idea. I look forward to it. Must be you. Is it the cat?
Okay, Sandra, are you who's speaking?
Yes.
Okay. It was a little echoey because somebody else has some background noise. I don't know who, but go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll listen.
No worries. No, I'm excited about the project. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great opportunity for some economic improvement in the area. And yeah, I'm pro seeing it happen.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm overwhelmingly in favor of this thing. It's good looking. It's going to add to the neighborhood. And the only thing that hesitation I have, Laura, frankly, is I don't know or agree with prioritizing local businesses. I think first come, first serve. This is a free market, and the retail spaces need to be occupied.
Right. Well, in the end, we're not voting on that piece of it either way.
Okay.
Because that's not it. It's just not a land use entitlement matter.
Right. I agree. Okay.
And I've done my job. I went out and talked to the leadership and say who should be at this meeting. And I've got a long list. I had to research all their emails and sent it on to CIM. And I believe they're going to have some sort of meeting / beer at the not yet open beer garden next to Johnny Pastrami. So they're going to have a nice meeting, I believe, in real, not a Zoom meeting, in social distance way. So I think it's covered, but it's not something we can vote on. Is kind of the point.
Do you know when that meeting is to take place?
Not a clue. All I was doing was helping them create it. If you want,
yeah, I heard from Donna. She called about it, but she has not given me any follow up on that. I think she wanted me to coordinate that with you.
Oh, fine.
So,
I'll just give them your email as well, Michael, because I didn't have your name as a person to include, but I have no problem adding your name to that list. But it's not a UNNC meeting.
No, I understand, but if it's CIM,
correct.
We just need to be,
correct.
We just need to be aware. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Sandra, your hand is still up. Do you have more to say?
Oh, I would like to be included in that if it's possible.
All right, I'm writing this. It's possible unless it's happening right tonight. I'm adding you too. Okay. I will email the peeps. Okay. And also, I might add, I don't know what anybody means by quote local, because and by that I mean, I don't know that it means the person who lives around the block versus just not a corporate big box, but it wouldn't be because of just the nature of where they're located. Because I do know, I've also heard from others, as most of you may know, Sweet Greens is moving its corporate headquarters here, but people would like them to also open a restaurant somewhere up and down, if they could, on Crenshaw, because it'd be close. So I believe they're already being talked to by both of the applicants for the two big buildings that are going in with restaurant space. So that wouldn't be local, except for that sort of it is, because they're moving their corporate headquarters over here anyway. All right, motion. Yes, John. Are you typing already, or you're mute?
I already typed it.
You already typed it.
I already
Okay.
typed it as you were talking.
Cool.
Okay, I move that the UNNC Planning and Zoning Committee recommends that the UNNC Governing Board support the site plan review application for the project as presented, with the qualification that the project design and construction be substantially compliant and in conformance with the design shown in materiality, massing, and quality. So basically, what we see is what we get.
And you're going to post that motion. And then you made the motion. Who seconds?
I'll second.
I'll second. Oh, okay, Michael can
Michael
second.
got there first.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's a race. But on the other hand, Michael did the last one. So maybe we should, maybe Michael, you should let Sandra do this one.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
All right, I'm second then.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
There we go. Okay. And by the way, if people are wondering why the heck we're typing it into chat, we can save the chat and then we actually have a written motion for tomorrow night. And again, the beauty of Zoom. Okay, so the motion is essentially to support the project as presented. So, and the qualification being that the design and construction be substantially compliant with what has been presented in materiality, massing, quality. So in other words, what we see should be what we get. Is there any comments, further comments on this or on the motion? Okay, here we go. All in favor, please raise your hand. And I'm going to, I see Sandra, I see John, I see, okay. Zena, Carlos, okay, 4, 5, I see 5, 6 hands up, plus mine would be 7. Is there any opposition? Take your hands down if you've got them up. Any opposition, please raise your hands now. And I already have been chatted another abstention. Okay, motion passes. Third item on our agenda, and John, I'm going to let you totally take the lead on this one, is, hang on.
I will, okay, ready?
Yeah, is item number 4, 1619 South Van Ness and 1623 South Van Ness. There's no case number. This is not yet a land use case per se, and John's going to take the lead on this. It's a review of a proposed project, and I'm turning this over now to John.
Okay, thank you. So as Laura mentioned, this is for 2 addresses on South Van Ness, just south of Venice. There is no case number because the developer is proposing this to be by right, which means that it's not asking for any incentives from the zoning or the CPIO, and also no incentives from the CPIO means it's being in conformance with the design guidelines. This case is before us this evening because it has had a longer history than we know about, because it was going through planning and plan check also as a by right case. But the 2 houses in question appear to be contributors to the CPIO. And at the last minute, as the developer was getting their final blessings from the planning department and building and safety, and their demo permit to demolish these two houses. It got recognized that something was wrong at the planning department for not flagging these two houses as contributors. So the developer, unbeknownst to anybody, was going forward with their plans to do something different than what you're going to see tonight. So it's our job tonight is to look at the proposed design. It's in the very, very earliest stages. It's a sketch basically. And for full disclosure, I assisted the developer when the problem came up with their original design, which was going to have 2 extra units than what you're going to be seeing tonight. I helped them because this is what I do, pro bono, to assist them through the process, to help them understand what the neighborhood wants and what the city, and just what the snags were. And they just need, they would like assurance from the neighborhood council that what they're proposing is acceptable and in conformance. So the proposal is to preserve and rehabilitate the 2 houses at the front, and you'll see them in a second. We have an exhibit. And also, and to build 2 duplexes behind the 2 houses. This is entirely by right. There's the zoning is RD 1.5, which will allow 8 units per lot. And I mean, sorry, 4 units per lot. And they're proposing 3 units per lot with the preservation of the houses. Like I said, it conforms to the planning and zoning. And again, this is very early, and they just want to make sure that what they're proposing is acceptable to the neighborhood. So I'm going to hand it over. Laura's going to start the presentation, and Zena, I believe you're
right.
going to, Zena, who's a representative for the developer, is going to just walk you through the design, and I will.
Right. So I'm not really, quote, starting the presentation. I'm just sharing the screen. Okay. All right. And if you confirm that you can see it, because now I can't see anybody, I can personally only see the screen.
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. I'm Zena. Thank you, first of all, for taking the time to consider this, and John for the sort of the history of everything leading up to this. It's a pretty, as John mentioned, it's very early. It's very simple. Again, it's just to get sort of a read on the neighborhood's feeling about this. So as John mentioned, when we got word that the neighborhood was very much against the demolition of the houses, we went back to the drawing board. And the new plan that we're proposing would leave the original houses intact. We would rehabilitate them, and they would stay as being used as residential units. And we would build 2 duplexes, or 1 duplex per lot behind the houses. Each duplex that we're proposing, they're townhouse style duplexes. They each have their own garage, 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. As of right now, there's a shared driveway that we'd be proposing, and yeah, and you can see on the left there is a reference to another. It's sort of a look and feel sort of guide. It's taken from another property in the neighborhood, you know, to sort of keep some historical nods in the design of the property.
And so just to explain what you're seeing on the screen, Vanessa is on the right. The gray strip down the middle is a driveway that leads to a kind of a parking area at the back that feeds the garages. The 2 houses are parked open to sky at the very rear. You'll see that kind of T at the end. That's at the rear of the lot. And then the 2 duplexes are the kind of the white boxes on either side of the driveway. And then you see the plans above, which are not related to the site plan. They just show the floor plans of each unit. So you can see that, as Zena said, 4 bedroom, 4 bath, and the inspiration to look, a previous project we approved to be a simple, vaguely historically referential that doesn't compete with the houses in the front. And then if you go to the next slide, Laura, this is a 3D view done to scale that shows the impact of the new buildings on the street. And you can see the 2 houses. You can see they're certainly fit the neighborhood's view of what would be character defining for the CPIO. And you can see in the very back, that little box that sticks up, that is the 3-story new construction that peaks up over the top of the, doesn't even pick up over the top, it peaks between them. So obviously going 3D, this is the Google view. Right now there's a construction fence around the site, so we can take a recent photograph. But this shows that, to my mind, there's little impact on the streetscape, and it does what the CPIO intends, which is to preserve the character of Van Ness, which is at the very edge of the CPIO, character residential overlay of the CPIO. And so that's it. And so we're looking, the developer's looking for, and I'm advocating that this gets support from the neighborhood and the neighborhood council.
Just
Hope I can do,
how long
Laura, am I allowed to do that? I think I just advocated for something as a host. I think I'll remain neutral on that.
no. I'm going back to the agenda to see what we wrote. We didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah, we did. Review
So
and
you want me to read that?
possible approval and concept of the development plans is what you had told me was the goal.
So I'll read what it is. It says, reviewed a proposed project involving 1, the rehabilitation of 2 period character 1906 houses, 1 per parcel, and 2, the construction of 2 new duplexes, 1 per parcel, behind each house, resulting in 3 units per parcel. This is a consultation, including review and possible approval in concept of the development plans.
Okay.
And then this would.
So let me tell you how I'm hampered now. I got a notice that there's a hand raised. I can't see anything, and Jeff has left the building. So do we need this still up on the screen? Because I can't call on people and have this up on my screen.
I'd say take it down. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Romero, you have your hand up.
Yes. I just want you to know that I spent the day photographing duplexes and fourplexes in the neighborhood in an effort to explain the state bill SB 1120. And in looking at this, I am encouraged that a developer is working with the community to try to enhance the things that are valuable to the community. And so the idea that you would preserve the 2 houses and still build behind it is laudable. And you know, I'll probably abstain in the vote because I think this should be a community vote. But I go with John. I think this is a good precedent for the future.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Romero.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I guess I should keep running. I see a hand up from Michael.
Sorry, John.
Yes.
From the aesthetic standpoint of marrying the old and the new, nice job. Nice job.
I handed to the developer. They were the ones who agreed to explore it. So I only helped.
Well, you whatever you did, don't be modest. It was a good job. Good job.
Michael, if you put your hand, I see no other hands. So I guess if anyone, more discussion, anyone want to make a motion? I can't make a motion on this one. So.
I'll make a motion.
Michael, let me type it along as you write it, as you say it.
My motion is pretty simple: to approve and support as presented. How's that?
And I would say, I would normally recommend a caveat to say in quality material, but it's in concept still.
Yes,
it's just
in concept, yes, in concept.
This is just kind of get, before they even start working on it.
Yes,
so
because there's still more to review, but in concept of placement of the parcels and the way it's laid out, I support it and would move to have the group support it.
Okay, so I have a motion from Michael. UNC Planning and Zoning Committee moves to recommend to the UNC Governing Board.
Well, John, just as a caveat, I think that in this case,
You're
we're
right.
not scheduled at the governing board, so it's just
Yep.
a approve in concept that this committee approves in
Right, okay.
concept.
Yep, okay.
And if we ever get
Uh,
to governing board, I don't think this particular thing is not entitlement, so it won't
Yeah,
necessarily
so
get
that's a formality, everybody, because this would be a by right project. So
Right.
there won't be a case number or anything to really vote on. But as we said, that there just needs to be some assurance going forward that there won't,
right.
that the neighborhood's in support.
I mean,
So
it's
the
not
UNC
that it
planning-
could never go to governing board. I'm just saying the motion doesn't start out technically as recommend to governing board. I think they want a more definitive that the people who reviewed this approve it in concept.
So the UNC Planning and Zoning Committee moves to support in concept the project that presented at the address.
Right. And you can do a comma and would so recommend to the governing board if necessary.
Okay,
As long as Michael says that what we just said is okay.
It'll be
I don't know.
as necessary or if necessary.
As we're being total bureaucrats here.
Okay, so Michael, we have a disqualification. So I'm going to post it, Michael, and if it's to your liking, please say so.
I'll raise my hand.
Michael, you can go ahead and talk.
No, oh, okay. I raised my hand to say yes, it's fine.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have no
Do we have
qualms.
do we have a second?
I'll second if no one else is
And
available.
who was
Okay,
that?
thank you,
Who
Sandra.
is it?
Sandra,
Sandra.
I got it. Oops. Okay. Michael moves. Sandra seconds. Okay, let's.
Well, I do
Let's wait.
have a little, John, I have a little tiny discussion item. I mean, obviously, the owners are here, but did you share with them my thoughts about in the bigger house trying a junior ADU to add another unit with no
I
parking?
mentioned it in passing. I mentioned it in passing to them. Yes.
So,
So
Will it fit?
unclear.
Okay.
well, it's unclear, but the beauty of these, you know, I think sometimes they're objectionable, but the beauty in this case, they're allowed to have 8 units on the 2 parcels, so 4 and 4, but it can't fit enough parking. But the new ADU laws don't necessarily require any parking, but on a functional basis, hard to rent something without parking. So, you know,
So you
people
want-
want
you
to
wanna-
have a place to park.
So let me understand. You want to try to carve out a junior ADU from the existing front house?
I, Laura, don't wish to do anything. It's just that this reduced their number of units. Anyway, it was just a thought.
So it's not, I would say it's not part of this, and I think the
Right.
whole thing you develop. But I think the developer has the right to do that, but they've expressed no desire to do that thus far.
Right. Okay, so I'm sorry I brought it up.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. I guess everyone raised their hands as we've done the past 2 times. Like, oh yes.
So those in favor, raise your hands, please. So I am counting I'm still counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hands, yes. I am abstaining on this one, or recusing my vote on this one. I'm just not voting. And so if you put your hands down, is there any nays? Wait, I still have all the hands up.
Still
Yeah,
hands up.
the hands are still up, so there's a way to take them down, and I don't know, I don't have the ability to undo the hand.
So it looks like, Carlos, is your hand up for a nay? Carlos?
Sometimes people leave the
Okay.
room.
Yeah.
His was up for a yay.
Okay.
So
Okay, there
there
we
it
go.
goes. Are there any nays? No
Yeah,
nays.
doesn't appear that way.
Okay. Motion passes.
Great.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. The next item of business on our committee agenda is, if any, follow-up to previous cases, ENS, which is things that have been notified to us, and old business. Let's see if I can think of them. I'm at a loss for new business or old business or ENS. There's suddenly a spate of new cases, which we'll be dealing with over the next month and a half. So, but I'm at a loss for bringing any old business up tonight. Does anybody else have any old business? Okay, public comments. That can be on anything not on this agenda. Are there any hands raised for public comments? Seeing none. Oh, one, Nancy.
Hey, Laura, I just had a question about voting. If we show up, we can just vote, or how does it work? Does it have to be
Absolutely.
in a-
Yeah,
Okay.
so again, for any UNNC committee, we only appoint the chairs and sometimes co-chairs. So like John Arnold is the sub-chair or co-chair of this committee, but everybody else who attends a UNNC committee meeting is simply a member of the committee for the night of the, or day of the committee meeting itself. And so if you're attending a committee meeting, you may discuss, you may make a motion, you may vote. It's unlike the board meeting. So we usually make a recommendation to the governing board, and then at governing board, only governing board members may make motions and votes. But at any committee, not just planning and zoning, our goal was to engage our stakeholders as full participants. So if you've been holding back on making motions and voting, I'm sorry, because you could have voted all along. So.
Thanks for the clarification.
Okay, any other public comments? I have one sad piece of news public comment. I don't know how it's going to play out, but Chris Carlson discovered driving by that kind of cute brick building on the corner of Manhattan Place and Washington, right by the council office. So every time we would go there for a meeting, it's being demolished and there's no permits. No project proposed, no permits, just a demolition. So they built a big giant canopy, but it's made out of wood around it, and no one knew what was happening behind it until a little bulldozer thing with a arm appeared above it. And it's like, wait. So she drove around and got out and saw the buildings being demolished. So that's all
Where's
happened
this
today. The northeast corner of Manhattan Place in Washington. So when you would turn in to go to our board meetings,
Yeah.
it's that building on the corner is no more.
Wow.
So it may have a little bit of the facade still standing, but I don't think it's long for this world.
It was like a
No. It was that's farther east. It's a 1920s streetcar commercial brick building. You know, I mean, it's not good, not bad, but it's in the CRA redevelopment plan. So it required, and so they have no clearances. So it required a historical evaluation. Didn't happen yet. It required the redevelopment plan clearance. It requires a CPIO clearance. And by the way, it actually requires a demolition permit, which they don't have. And they never posted it. No notice were given. They applied in May, and they just, I guess, thought, well, we applied, we paid our money, and they just are demolishing it. So I don't know what the reasons were or are. I don't know where the confusion lay, but that's just literally today's news.
And Laura, I'd like to commend the Planning and Zoning Committee for 1 hour and 15 minutes.
I know. So anyone who is on the board, if you'll just tell everyone tomorrow night that we sped through these 2 land use items and hope we can speed through them
3.
again tomorrow night. Well, 3, but
3.
only 2 are on tomorrow's agenda along with a lot of other things. So, okay.
Great.
Hearing
Thanks,
no
everybody.
other public comment, I guess we can adjourn this meeting.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Good? Thank you
care.
so much.
Bye.
I
Have a good
stayed.
night, everyone.
Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. And